Hey everyone, Luke here. Hope you're doing well. In this video, I just wanted to share some updates about Populous token. Okay, so if you watch some of my previous videos well, first of all, it's important that you know that for a while I was making just the crypto videos strictly on another channel, but because we've decided to, me and Lewis have moved a different direction from Dr. Wilson, I'm just going to make the financial videos that I like making on this channel now. Okay, so if you want to watch some old videos about Populous, there might be some on this channel if you do a search, but I think they're mostly on just the Luke Pryor channel. Okay, so Populous token, what is it? Okay, so what is invoice factoring? Okay, you can read a little bit about invoice factoring right here. This is just nerdwallet.com. Okay, so invoice factoring, it gives a good example here. So basically what it is, it's like if you own a company, right, or some sort of business, and you have goods or services that you're selling to someone else, and then how it works is you would have an invoice, right, and it might be a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day invoice for the company that you're selling to pay you back, right? So like, say it's like a 90-day invoice, you give them like $10,000 worth of inventory, you sell it to them, and then they pay you back over the 90 days, okay? Now, when you do that, you might want the cash up front. You might rather have a lump sum of cash. Maybe you have to pay employees in the next couple weeks. Maybe you need to convert that into money right away because you need to buy inventory. And so what you do is you take that invoice and you give it to a third party, and they give you a certain percentage of it up front, okay? And what they do is they run credit checks and everything on the company that is promised to pay it back, and they're kind of like a middleman, okay, where they can basically give you the cash up front for that invoice that you sold, and then they then collect payments for the rest of that invoice from the buyer that you sold the invoice to originally, okay? At least that's my understanding, okay? Now, one thing you have to understand about invoice factoring, it's, first of all, a niche market. A lot of people don't know about it, and it's actually a lot bigger than people realize. I've read estimates that it's, for some banks, it's like 30-40% of their profit. I think for most banks, it's closer to 20%. It's kind of hard because it's so niche. It's hard to find, like super accurate information, obviously, like what banks are doing it the most. But from my understanding, it's a big honeypot for banks, okay, because they kind of have a monopoly over it. And the yield that you get is quite a bit, right? So if you're doing invoice factoring, so a company is giving you an invoice to give them the lump sum of cash, some banks will sometimes charge like 15-20% to factor that invoice, okay? And it's still worth it for the company, right? Because, even though you're only getting 80% on your money, it's still worth it to get that cash. In a lot of instances, it's still worth it to get that cash right away, okay? And so a lot of companies do it anyway. And so it's a big cash cow for a lot of banks. And it's over $1 trillion market. And it's a cash cow for banks, okay? And so we know that decentralized finance is going after the banks in a lot of ways, okay? And so any sort of token that can be used for invoice factoring, we want to keep an eye on, okay? So this is the one is Populous. And as you know, I've made videos about it before. I have been accumulating the bottom of Populous, Veritasium, and Pillar, because those are the three big Cliff High tokens. If you're not familiar with Cliff High is a computer scientist who basically did what we call web bot reports, where this is pretty woo-woo, but he basically made computer spiders that went out into the internet and collected all the data from people talking in chat rooms and social media and things like that, and then basically he would try to predict the future based off of using the linguistics from people from everyone's subconscious on the internet. Okay, trying to tap in using like software to try to tap into our like psychic subconscious of like the human race on the internet, basically. Okay. Now, whether you believe in that stuff or not, I don't know. All I know is that if you go back and read his old reports from like 2016 and compare them to today, it's a mind trip. Okay, how accurate a lot of the stuff he has been getting. Okay. And he's been telling to buy Bitcoin since it was like $5, okay? And so he does have a significant track record that you can't deny. Whether you believe in that woo-woo stuff or not, I don't know, okay? And so if we can understand that lines up also with the fundamentals, right? We know invoice factoring is a huge honeypot. We know decentralized finance is going parabolic right now, along with cryptocurrencies. And we know that some sort of decentralized finance solution, DeFi solution, is going to basically go after invoice factoring. But that we can kind of line that up with our thesis of the WebBot, right? And so it's nice when like both kind of worlds line up, right? Fundamental analysis, and then maybe some like kind of intuitive sort of like woo-woo stuff, okay? So what I was watching is this wedge, okay? So Populous was in a long downwards wedge on the weekly, and I've been accumulating all throughout this, okay? And when I was looking for this wedge, and it's exactly what we want to see, okay? It's a descending wedge, and we got a massive bull break with a massive volume, okay? We can see it. If we look at the volume, it's a massive volume break here, okay? And then it pumped all the way from 26 cents to $1 in about a week, okay? And then came back down, back tested. We can see it back tested support, and then we've moved up again in the coming weeks, okay? And so that's basically exactly what you see. When you have a long, drawn-out sort of tightening pattern, you want to see a massive bull break with a massive volume candle, and you want to preferably see it back tested as support and then use it as a trampoline, okay? And the chart is basically picture perfect for what we wanted to see, okay? It is also going live this weekend. I want to play around. I'll make a video if it's worth it after I play around with the platform a little bit. And anyways, their invoice factoring platform is basically going to go live this weekend, okay? So hopefully soon you'll be able to actually buy invoices. So it'll be a decentralized finance platform. Let's see if we can go. They have a website here. I think the current website is populous.world. Let's see here. Yeah, you can log in, sign up and stuff. Okay. But yeah, I'll make another video when it goes live. And what you should be able to do is companies that do invoice factoring, they will upload their invoices to the Populous platform, and then people like me and you can use our Populous tokens to buy or sell these invoices. And instead of banks earning 20% on an invoice, we can earn 20% on an invoice. And what it does is it democratizes the yield on invoice factoring, okay? And then you need to have the token to buy the invoices. And so the more invoices the platform will list, the higher the price of the token should go, because there's a limited supply of tokens, and you have to use the tokens to basically fulfill the invoice, okay? So is it a good buy right now? I'm not sure. Right now it's pretty extended. But if it's going to where I think it's going, we can see the old all-time high was around like $75, right? It's still at $1. So long term, yeah, I think it's still at a good price point to be buying. You can always, when it's doubles or something, you can take profits. If you want to look at places to buy it, you go to coinmarketcap.com, Populous Markets. I bought most of mine on Binance. You can buy on places like Ether Delta, which is like decentralized, but it's harder to use. I don't really recommend it for most people. You can just use Binance with a VPN if you have to, or OKX. KuCoin, I've used KuCoin before. I think I used KuCoin to buy Theta at one point. I've used Mercatox. You could use Mercatox. Again, don't keep your coins on an exchange. Okay, if you're going to use Mercatox, buy a little Populous, take it off. Don't leave your coins on there. Okay, whatever you do. Okay, but yeah, I've used Mercatox. I've used Mercatox to buy Veritasium. Okay, and so I will give you guys an update when I play around the platform. Hopefully this weekend. They want to go live. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. But the WebBot has some amazing things to say about Populous in the future. It said it would basically strip away invoice factoring from the banks very rapidly once it went live. That it would do well for many, many years. That there was some linguistics around basically people that bought Populous at these levels would have trust fund babies, and it would have huge success. Okay. And so yeah, and then the risk reward is, I don't put all my portfolio in Populous, obviously. Most of my crypto portfolio is the major coins like Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. But I have been scaling into the weakness of some of these super wrecked coins that have dipped a lot, because the risk reward favors it, right? And at this point, if it goes to zero, say Populous could go to zero, right? If it goes to zero, I didn't lose that much, and I'm still way more than made up for with my gains just having the major safe coins like Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever, right? And so it's been important to factor that risk reward into your sort of hypothesis, right, when you're investing. But yeah, Populous, check it out. I will update you guys this weekend, and yeah, it's exactly what I want to see. Massive bull break on this wedge, back test, massive volume break. And yeah, we'll see if Cliff High's data kind of plays out with this. It's been a long road for Populous. It's taken them 3 years of building, but they say it takes 3 years of building to build a good software solution. Because software breaks a lot, and this is all brand new stuff. Decentralized finance. It hasn't been around very long, and these are whole new business models that people are building using Ethereum and platforms that are like Ethereum. It takes a long time if you're going where no business has gone before with these utility tokens that are built on top of Ethereum. It takes a while to get to where you want to be, and to fix the code and make sure it's not going to be hacked, and that you have enough liquidity for the token, et cetera, et cetera. But what's nice about decentralized finance is now there's a lot of Lego pieces where you're building something like Populous. You can use oracles from Chainlink, and you can use liquidity pools from Aave, and it's kind of these DeFi Lego pieces where a company can just plug and play all these different DeFi components and build something new, which is kind of what Populous is doing with invoice factoring. But I think there'll probably be other tokens that also do well with invoice factoring. PayPal is one that might do well. Another one is Unibright. That's a bigger market cap token than Populous currently. But Chico Crypto has done videos on Unibright. They're more they're a little bit more well known than Populous. I think it's like more of a bigger corporate name. But yeah, Unibright's doing invoice factoring as well. It's not a bad idea to diversify among a couple invoice factoring tokens, because we don't know for sure, right, which one's going to dominate invoice factoring in the future. But yeah, it's a big market that people don't realize. It's a honeypot for banks, and I think that it'll do quite well. So that's it for this video. Again, I'll keep you guys updated on any sort of developments with Populous, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.